What's the greatest thing we teach a kindergartner? To share. And what's the one thing we tell them not to do for safety purposes, right? And it's real. Like, we don't want them to contract something. We don't want them to bring something home to mom or dad, to grandma, but we're telling them not to share. What kind of neurological effect will that have on a kid when they're 12 or 13? And then you look at other developmental windows of compassion, alleviating the suffering of someone else. What about things like empathy? This computer that we have between our ears, this 100 billion neurons, is constantly scanning all of the faces in that environment. And that isn't happening at the rate it has happened at for all of humanity. And then if you look at things like play, there's these awful studies that are done, play starvation studies on animals. If you don't allow rats, that naturally their play window opens at about 4 weeks, ends at about 14 weeks, and if you don't allow that to happen, they don't even know how to mate properly. Even more fascinating are kittens. If you annihilate that play cycle in a kitten, as they get older, they'll become so socially inept and they'll develop what looks like anxiety, where they won't even be able to function properly with other cats. Makes you wonder what happened years ago with things like self-directed, self-controlled play. And yeah, it's been steadily declining, but we just took this huge dollop from what had already been declining. So you wonder, when will this pandemic really be over? And I talked to an educator just the other day, and she said, you know when it'll be over? When these kindergartners graduate. Because all of these developmental windows, they were disrupted. So for me, this lost learning that happened, I don't even know if we'll be able to measure it, but I do know what the solution is. More sweethearts and heroes. People that give hope to other people, and people that take action to help kids when they're struggling.